Before delving in, we'd like to begin by stating how amazing it's been working on this year's case competition. We've come a long way since the beginning of August, and countless hours later, I think I speak for all of us when I say that we've learned so much and have grown as a team along the way. Finally, we'd like to extend a special thank you to Andrew for having been an amazing organizer and for having helped us so much along the way, always pointing us in the right direction. Without further ado, let's jump right in. Let's save Tim Hortons. First thing first, let's do a run through. We'll begin with a company overview discussing Tim Hortons, its business model, and fundamental company values. Following this, we'll jump right in, answering the two questions this case is all about. For each, we'll begin by addressing the issues at hand in our problem identification slides, then propose potential solutions and implementation plans we've tailored to Tim Hortons. We'll then quickly go over our entire presentation before concluding. Before delving in, we must first understand what we are dealing with. What is Tim Hortons? Simply put, Tim Hortons is Canada's most popular coffee shop, but it's also a lot more than that. Tim Hortons is a lot more than a brand. It's fundamentally a Canadian brand and a national icon that's become a staple of Canadian culture. Tim Hortons was built bottom up in the sense that it was built on community values and its presence in the lives of everyday Canadians. Tim Hortons was best known for sponsoring junior leagues and was everyone's go-to spot after games. Taking a look at this company in a more technical sense, Tim Hortons is Canada's largest fast food service with over 4,200 locations and nearly 100,000 employees in Canada alone. It claims to be Canada's most popular coffee, responsible for 7 out of every 10 coffees sold in the country. In 2014, Tim Hortons was purchased by Burger King for a whopping 11.4 billion USD. This was a controversial purchase, as many claimed it was to help Burger King negotiate a lower corporate tax rate. Company executives denied this claim. In December of that year, Tim Hortons and Burger King were acquired by Restaurant Brands International, a large fast food conglomerate majoritarily held by a Brazilian firm. With all this in mind, we have come up with multiple solutions to help combat the issues Tim Hortons is currently facing.
Let's start by answering this case's first question. From a marketing standpoint, how can Tim Hortons reestablish itself as a trusted Canadian brand? To get to the root of this question, we must begin by asking ourselves, why must Tim Hortons reestablish itself in the first place? Tim Hortons is currently facing a number of key issues surrounding its image and brand identity. Since its purchase by Burger King and later acquisition by Restaurant Brands International, Tim Hortons has begun to lose its valuable Canadian image, has begun to be perceived as both globalized and Americanized, making Canadian consumers connect less with the brand. This threatens one of Tim Hortons' fundamental corporate values, community feel. Further adding to this issue of loss of community feel is an increasingly high turnover rate of employees. In other words, you can no longer expect the "Alan, how are you? Double exchange when walking into a Tim's location. In addition to image-related issues, Tim Hortons is also currently facing a number of internal, operational issues. Franchisees are blaming their relationships with their franchisor for the downfall of their locations, saying that they feel as though their franchisor is overly oppressive and forcing them to stray away from the things that make Tim Hortons, Tim Hortons. Further, Tim Hortons is failing to keep up with market trends and doesn't pay enough attention to social responsibility and environmentalism, factors incredibly valuable to younger consumers. This may explain their failure to appeal to younger consumers, with statistics showing the largest chunk of Tim's customers are between 45 and 54. Finally, an article from BNN Bloomberg argues that mediocre food options are another leading cause of Tim Hortons' failure to keep up with the competition. So how do we plan to remedy all this and get Tim's back on track? Well, our group believes that Tim Hortons must return to its fundamental Canadian values if it wishes to keep its edge and remain competitive in a market as tough as coffee and fast food. In other words, it's time to go back to the basics and focus on returning to the 3 factors that contributed the most to Tim Hortons' success: affordable, good coffee, a friendly Canadian image, and community engagement. Let's start with taking a look at our first point, affordable, good coffee. Unfortunately, Tim Hortons is currently neither of those things and falls behind its competitors in both respects. Tim Hortons coffee is currently more expensive than McDonald's, despite being ranked 8 spots behind it in a recent poll by Match.com. Other sources tend to show similar results. To summarize, Tim Hortons coffee is no longer the cheapest, and it's far from the best. So, how can Tim's continue to thrive in the competitive coffee market? Well, let's ask ourselves, what do consumers love most? The answer is free stuff. This idea stems from Mr. Sheldon Adelson, founder of the Las Vegas Sands, who decided that complimentary rooms and other offerings were the best way to get gamblers to casino tables. In a similar manner, we plan to pitch free coffee as a way to get patrons to Tim Hortons locations. Customers would be eligible for free coffee with the purchase of any food item, solving 2 issues in one go. First off, restaurants could expect greater traffic. Second, free coffee would encourage the sale of on-display food items, which would increase turnover, forcing restaurants to restock more often. This would lead to the increased freshness of donuts, bagels, and other items. Patrons would also have the option to pay $1 to upgrade from a small coffee to the next size up. The cost of other in-store products could also be marginally increased to help offset the cost of offering free coffee. Free coffee would also be incredibly easy to market and could easily beat out key competitors like McDonald's and ads just like that one. Or a friendly approach could be taken, capitalizing on Tim's always fresh model, like the ad we're showing now. Next up, Tim Hortons also needs to work on the amelioration and strengthening of their ever-valuable Canadian image. Tim Hortons' founding values have everything to do with supporting and being there for the Canadian community, and it's time to prove it. We believe Tim Hortons can achieve this by associating itself with and donating to Canadian causes, as well as reverting to its roots and capitalizing on the endorsement of Junior League athletics. Tim Hortons should focus on social responsibility by associating itself with Canadian causes, like the Canadian Wildlife Foundation, Hockey Canada Foundation, or the Climate Action Network Canada. Tim's could also focus on local fundraising, donation to food banks, and engaging customers through social media with the goal of promoting its social awareness and responsibility in mind. In order to strengthen its presence in the lives of Canadians, Tim should go back to sponsoring Little League sports teams, as well as investing in community beneficial activities like the Timbit Hockey Invitational Program. After having done all this, the message will be clear. Tim Hortons cares about Canadians. We've put together the above implementation plan to showcase how we plan on making our solution happen. In the first 6 months, we'll offer free coffee with any order, focusing on strong advertising campaigns, the sponsorship of community activities, and association with the Canadian cause. In the following 6 months, we'll continue offering free coffee with any order, while further strengthening the brand's social presence via a Facebook and Instagram ad campaign, as well as athletic endorsements. Donation to and association with the Canadian cause will continue, and at this point, we propose that Tim's proposes some sort of online activity, like an NHL playoff bracket. In the following year, we plan to halt offering free coffee and only offer it to patrons who come in with their own reusable cups. This will make Tim Hortons appear ever more socially conscious, as it shows concern for the environment. At this point, Tim's could begin considering expansion into airports, taking advantage of tourists seeking the national icon, as well as expansion into emerging markets like Asia and the Middle East. Tim's could also begin considering restaurant renovations at this time in order to be more competitive with its modernized and rejuvenated competitors, McDonald's and Starbucks.
So the second question that we have to answer is, how might Tim Hortons take into account the COVID pandemic and develop a new marketing strategy to keep bringing in clients? Well, I think the most important thing clearly is safety. Average consumers are scared to return to restaurants, so we have to set in place procedures that make sure that Tim is safe. Like, for example, outdoor seating, constant cleaning, promoting drive-through, contactless experiments. Customers wait outside the restaurant. You can advertise on HEPA filters or employees wearing KN95 masks, just stuff to make sure that no one gets sick at a Tim Hortons restaurant. We also have to make sure, because COVID-19 has made all of us, especially me, realize how important our community is. And when things like the NHL are being shut down, Tim's can be a place where the community can meet up safely because of the guidelines that we've actually outlined before. Tim's could be the ideal community spot during the global pandemic that we are dealing with. For our marketing, preparing Tim Hortons products for entry into the marketplace. Food and menu developments will be done alongside health experts. This will allow us to put what's healthiest and safest for Canadians. For example, some fruits and vegetables have been proven to transmit the virus, right? We would not put those in the food in order to make sure that this food is the healthiest and safest that it can be for our customers. We will disinfect packages and we will make employees wash their hands very frequently. We just want to prove that Tim Hortons is a safe restaurant to eat at. For advertising, we can start latching on to trends like TikTok and different kinds of social media ads. And since around 92% of Canadians between the ages of 18 and 34 have visited Tim Hortons restaurant, it's important to focus on the range that hasn't so much, such as the 65-year-olds and the senior Canadians, where only 68% of Canadian seniors have actually gone to a Tim Hortons recently. We could advertise through platforms like Facebook or TV or the newspaper, which seniors look at way more often than younger Canadians. We have to advertise to seniors who have enough money saved up for retirement, and we have to make sure we get rid of the common stereotype that Tim Hortons is a working man's restaurant. We need to prove to people that eating at Tim's is safer than eating at home, and this is crucial to Tim Hortons' success during the pandemic. We have to provide advertising that shows the measures that we are taking to combat COVID-19. We have to hire scientists in order to show them that our food is safe. And in an atmosphere that COVID-19 is the one now, we have to prove that Tim's is the safest fast food restaurant that you're ever going to be able to eat at. That is what's going to be able to get us clients and make sure that we can make it through troubling times like this. For the cost, well, our solution cost is most expensive part is the free coffee, right? 1.5 billion people have a small size Tim Hortons coffee every year. So if we assume that we only do the free coffee for 6 months, then we do 750 million times 20 cents, which would be $150 million for 6 months. The Canadian version of it would make 10K per restaurant per year, sponsoring local communities. That would be around $2 million in Canada altogether. Our advertising budget would be around $50 million annually of explicit advertising, such as commercials, board ads, and hockey rinks, and different kinds of things like that.
And now let's go over what we talked about today. Based on our solution from 3 perspectives, coffee, Canadian image, and feelings of community.